Oh, it was unexpected, quite hectic day because I didn't plan anything except call with Pablo, which actually went really well. Probably we'll do something for the symposium next year. But then yeah, then Kat wrote to me, so I had to order the shipping, and then I had to go to SDL. But then first I had to go to the school and then print out and take some tools, and then I went to SDL, and yeah, so it was a bit fragmented, which was not really my plan. I was hoping to sit down and work on stuff. Yeah, but I had nice also conversation with Kat about
We've had
my research. So I'm, you know, asking to visit the rehearsals and so on. So that might happen again, which
we've
would
had we've got
STL. I mean,
yeah.
Kat, but yeah, STL. So that's something. Yeah.
And can you tell me, so which context are you talking with Pavel? I'm curious.
So I mean, it's my research, right? So it was kind of like at first it started when we were at Impulse this year, and I was just suggesting to do something for the next symposium. Because Pablo was telling me that they want to do something with like this online aspect.
But I don't know what or
I mean it's like more like a general question because they always have like less traction for the online participants. I mean, everyone's
right.
saying they're interested, but they don't show up, for example.
Mm,
This is something like they want to work on. And then, I mean, there's like a week, like or like like a overlap with my research. So we started conversation, and then I shared with them that I'm really interested in like this IDOC-DE, but like um how do you say, like what's the future of IDOC-DE, the platform itself, not the symposium.
platform itself, yeah,
Yeah.
in connection with your research.
Yeah, because that's basically like kind of the thing that I initially wanted to build, but then now we're like towards so there was this thing I didn't know, but they want to close it because like the idea is that nobody's using it. I mean, there's no new post,
Oh, so they want to close it. Oh no, that's bad.
but also I mean, nobody knows like who's paying for the server and stuff. Like Pablo
Who's
doesn't
paying
know.
for that? Nobody
They don't
knows. They
know.
don't know.
Nobody knows.
Oh wow, that's not good.
Oh, I mean, so I was th saying that, like the worst case scenario is like they run out of money and, they just shut down the server, then, the data can be lost, right?
Yeah, of
So,
course.
but there's also like this very few people, but actually using the platform to search contents. Like they're not posting new things, but they're like
But
doing
yeah,
research.
yeah, I'm sure there's some people that should be doing people.
Yeah. So that's one of them is Mariana. We had a call earlier this week because so Pablo wrote to Mariana, and so they connected us, and then we had a chat. So basically Mariana's like using the platform to do research but not posting things. So
Oh,
then I
I
started to have this idea that, like because making such a platform is like, it's beyond PhD project, basically PhD research. But if I think about like if I could get a contact of the developer and get access to the backend and take all the data and make an
yeah.
archive. For example, like I was imagining this Pina Bausch archive. I think it's a motion bank they did it, right? Or
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like this kind of thing that
Like
you
the first iteration was motion bank, yeah.
okay, okay, okay. So this kind of thing I started to think, then it's less costly for, to begin with. Like you have probably like less, you need less capacity for the server. And then to me, it's interesting to think with the community, like what kind of like, for example, like search function, or is it like a recommendation system from the system that can help navigating the content. So this is something
Interesting.
that
That will
that
be actually interesting for you because then you have for your research because then you have all this body of content, right?
Totally, because that's always, difficult for people to contribute. But then if we can start with this and then we talk with the community, what they actually want, then
You
maybe
know what could be interesting also, like you didn't receive an answer from Mario Marlon at some point,
I
right?
don't know. No.
Because that will be interesting. I'm imagining like somehow like to putting these things, I mean, or find a way how like all the content that Marlon has and all this content that could be in the same holder.
Yeah.
Marlon never answer you?
No.
Are you still interested in talking with Marlon?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, of course, like I'm curious, but then, like this has to, like get, rolling. And with Pablo, it seems like kind of doing this monthly meeting. And I have a clear vision that, at next year LACE symposium, we will do something on site.
No.
But
Okay.
then, yeah, with Marlon, I mean, I know that you're close to him, but
I will say like the way how I think it, I propose that it might make sense that you keep on doing what you're doing, and then at some point once that is it takes shape, then it's easier to then involve
yeah,
Marlon, but not at this
yeah,
stage.
no, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I see it's more like a community that I'm interested in, like not exactly like, I want to work with this person or that person, but like the kind of like entry to like this community because that's something I can really expand in this HCI context. And that's
What would
something.
be interesting also like and part of I don't know if you take into account in your research is that actually there are some people who write about in this thing that I took from Kinoshishka, this magazine.
Mm.
This guy Norbert,
Yeah. Upper.
Norbert. He quotes there's an article of this guy here, and back then I think in 2015 he was writing on this. He was researching on this idea if there is such a thing as a dance community.
Mm.
And so what I'm saying is it seems there is not like this idea of a dance community doesn't really exist somehow because it's quite local.
Yeah. Or it's like more like constellation. It's not like this community, that community, but like there's this kind of always mobile, not constellation actually, it's mobility always.
And certainly there's something there is like the digitality of that aspect. I mean, if just to situate this idea of community within dance is hard to situate, of course, like the digitality on that is even harder
Mm.
in terms of who is gonna use that. So I think that idea of community first, like to situate that is interesting.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't know that he was writing about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I will send to you like some pictures of that. There's one article that's interesting. It's just like 4 pages or something.
Okay.
Because at some point he has a framework where Lily was part at some point, I think, on that framework.
Okay.
Because there
What's
was
it
all the
called?
people in Frankfurt. I think it was called like something like the performing arts community or something like that. And I was in Frankfurt while Lily was part of that. Like it initially stayed also with Motion Bank was there, all that part.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, cool. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, I mean, I think that's also like interesting topic, like what is the community? Because then, that's I was actually reading the paper from that Sarah was supervising. It's a really good paper, and they
About
make
what?
so they worked with the Isadora Duncan company, but it's like, it's I don't exactly know what is this company because it's kind of
Yeah, never heard of that even. I didn't know that
yeah,
existed, this Adora Duncan company.
I know. It's like really
Hard
like
to imagine. It's hard to imagine.
yeah, it's just like because they say like they do rehearsal, like I mean the researchers were like visiting the rehearsals, but it sounds like more like a workshop. And then it seems like this company thing is like more like a community that people are like learning the techniques or something like this. It's not really like they have a company that does performances. I mean, I don't know. I might be wrong because I went really
Which
fast.
makes sense somehow. I mean, it makes more sense, like it's more logical for me, like to imagine almost like as a cult in a good way of people
Yeah,
who really love Isadora Duncan
yeah,
and they have that they share things about it.
Yeah.
then imagine as such as Isadora Duncan Company because she was not somebody doing dance performances as such as she was doing more performances as she was.
Yeah. 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 So that's really interesting paper for me because that's like a reference of like, what is a dance community? And also it kind of sets the tone that, such a thing doesn't exist, right? It's not like,
Can you share that? Can you share that with me?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, I think it's interesting because yeah, this idea of the community dance community is interesting.
Yeah. I think it's open access, so just yeah, it's open access. I think it's like, I mean, the paper itself sounds really like I wouldn't say rudimentary, like it's not surprising what they're talking about, but I think it's really like um honest in a way that they were working with this company, they were making the prototype and people liked the prototype. And
And what was the prototype about then?
so basically in one of the rehearsals they were using silk scarf.
What
So
is that?
hmm?
Yeah, like silk scarf?
Scarf.
Okay, yes.
And so that was the inspiration and also,
You know
because
that she died like that, no?
ah
You know, could be that because she died I mean, because she used to have this and she died in a car accident. She because she was having that and she got stuck and she got hanged basically
yeah, I
by
think
that.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. So that's different. Yeah, like add something to it. But basically the idea is that they made two prototypes, like basically some attaching some sensors like accelerometer or something and makes sound. That's it, and the content of the sound is like one is like they are inspired by nature and they took some ocean sound, and then another one is some writings from Isadora Duncan that was spoken by one of the dancers, the ones who were um, third generation Duncan dancer or something, and then they did some granular synthesis or something that reacts to the movement. And it's really simple, right? I mean, I don't know the technical implementation. It's never simple. I know that, but it's like not like rocket science. But then they brought it to the rehearsals, and then I talked with the people who's taking this rehearsal workshop, and they wrote a paper about it, basically.
But I can imagine I like the simplicity of the thing and
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah, it's quite understandable. And
yeah,
this is something from 2023 I'm seeing, so it's not
yeah,
too old actually.
exactly.
Interesting.
I mean, one like something questionable to me is that they say like they kind of claim that it's like a longitudinal study. So they were working with the company for so like not just 1 month, but I think they say like 8 months. So it's quite like a exhaustive research. But also they say that the rehearsals happen like twice, three times a month. So I was like, that's not a lot. I mean, that's something I would say, but still, I think it's a nice research.
Interesting.
Because I the impression I got from because I read about this paper from Sarah's like a thesis kind of thing that I was following at first. Not a thesis,
Her,
but
her
uh
PhD or
no, it's not for PhD, but it's something that they have to do in France or
the
some
professor thing.
professor thing. Yeah. So it's like
Okay.
she did it like wrote it like last year. So that was also the time that this paper was coming out, and
Okay.
then so when I read that I thought like, the first author, I mean, Sarah, the student was like really like following this company and doing like really like extensive research. I mean, I guess it's still like counts as a extensive research, not like devaluing their contribution, but still like I feel three times a month for 8 months is like it's not like, a lot. Like it, I mean, it's like a beginning, I feel still.
Also, it seems weird, like, so if somebody says like they were rehearsing a piece for 8 months, basically,
I don't know if it's a rehearsing a piece or something. And maybe I just skipped something that I was important, but I didn't really. it's not like a company, dance company that's rehearsing a piece. Like it's
Yeah,
very,
because that also.
very different. The context, I didn't really get the context from this. Probably it's maybe it's written somewhere, but I went through fast. So
Yeah, I want to check it out.
yeah, but it's I think it's really nice. As I said, like it's really simple. That is good, like in a way.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
By the way, our paper didn't get accepted.
The one
So
that you were working, I mean, Williams.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
It's
It's
really
William
interesting.
Bolt.
No, no, no. Uh,
Are we uploading this? Yeah, we can upload it. And we just tagged William.
William Modena. I think this is okay. Yeah. Anyways, but the reviews were quite interesting. I mean, I didn't read it through, but like there's like really good review and there's like really like opposing.
When they don't accept the paper, so when you that then they don't accept it, they say why, or how does that
Yeah,
work?
they gave comments. Yeah.
On why they say why was missing for them.
I mean, normally, like when you review a paper, you have to like write, the summary of the paper and, yeah, like what is missing or what is weak, what is strong, this kind of thing, so that basically they have to decide if it's accepted or not based on not just the scores, but based on the comments that the reviewers give, right? So there's like someone who's compiling these reviews to give the final decision.
Based also on the numbers on the
Yeah,
grade.
I mean, of course, like there's like, the reviewers would say like this is strongly accept, strong or accept, like neutral, reject, strong rejection.
What the fuck?
Yeah. But then, like you get like two or three reviewers and then someone like a chair or someone who's going to compile this that of course if everyone says accept then it's accept, but then if this in this case like it's like strongly accept, strongly reject, and then they have to decide what to do with this based on their comments.
Okay, but like so that it's useful that they give you good insights on
I,
what
I
is
and I think the reviews were really really like insightful. I think it's really constructive that we can really work on this. So yeah, and also like one thing we were discussing before is that because it's about the installation which we will see in Bucharest, we will be in the same showcase, Modena.
cool.
So I was suggesting, like I can also do another, interview round because we will be presenting on the first at the first, and then the installation, and then another performance. Who was that? I forgot. But so I was suggesting, like maybe we can do this, but then Nuno was saying like, no, 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 like maybe, probably like we can send William to there and he can run the study as a option to like kind of
So but
reinforce.
so he's coming to Bucharest.
I mean, that's an option if he wants the
Yeah, but I
problem.
think Nuno told me that William's coming to Bucharest
Not an original plan.
and Nuno is coming to Ljubljana.
Not
I
anymore.
thought because
That was original plan. So original plan was that he's gonna come to Ljubljana only, but then there was like now he has like other duties in other lab. So after discussion,
Nuno,
he's decided to not to come to Ljubljana. But then after
Nuno,
this, and Nuno is coming.
Nuno.
Nuno is coming.
Yeah, Nuno's coming to Ljubljana, no? Yeah,
Yeah, but not Bucharest.
yeah, 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 yeah.
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 And William originally to Ljubljana, but that's canceled now. But then there's the like option to for him to come to Bucharest. But I don't know if he wants, probably then we can work it out. But if he doesn't want, then he will not come.
Yeah, yeah. I also have a conversation with Nuno. He explained me that in his postdoc,
Mm.
William has in his contract 1 month for him to work on something that he wanted. I mean, that was part. If
Mm.
he
Ah,
wanted
yeah,
to
yeah,
work on
yeah.
something,
Originally,
but yeah, but that he decided to work for somebody
yeah,
uh,
that's
instead of working
Neurocinema people.
with who?
Neurocinema,
Okay,
Pia,
from
Pia,
Tallinn.
I think, yeah. I mean, it's the same university, but they have like different schools, right? And we're in the digital technologies, and there's this BFM, Baltic Film and Art, whatever. I don't know.
And
Uh,
so Oksana is part of that
no,
of these universities.
that's the dance. That's the like theater and music school, right?
So that's not part of the
That's
Tallinn University.
different, I think. I mean, I don't exactly know because I only know her information from you, so I might be mixing.
No, no, because actually I remember that when we were at some point like then talking, then they mentioned that they work in the same place.
Okay, then it's a Tallinn University. I mean, the
Yeah,
BFM, the Baltic Film, because they have dance school as well. Yeah,
yeah, that should
yeah.
be part.
And then that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Shall we jump in where we left?
Yes,
All
I
right.
have to. Yeah, like leave at half past because now I'm going to see a show today, which was like a gift from Nuno after Modena
Which show, like the which show?
at this Sveta
The
Guri.
one that he
Yeah.
saw?
So I saw her piece at STL, but there's another one that I think it's a new piece at
Ah, okay.
Kanti. Yeah.
Okay, no, I just thought because Nuno, there was a show that he saw from yeah during the STL shows. There was a show he saw that was not part of this STL. A show
He
with
said something about it, but it's not that.
okay.
No.
No, I just thought it was that. That sounds very good.
No. Okay.
Okay, so Tallinn. So we were in the second part of the message.
Yep.
I'm here. Audience interaction. Just gonna read through.
Yep.
Um, performing. So about audience interaction, performing for the audience too much, flat state, no difference in photographic approach, which already we mentioned before, like nuances of clear differentiation of attention.
What do you mean by
Uh,
difference? So you mean in terms of choreographic approach, there is no like change. Like uh,
the attention for the public.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I mentioned. Like when I
Like
mentioned
monotonous.
choreographic, is like the yeah the for the people from the there is not a differentiation for them to see you or see me in different states. That's what I meant with like nuances. So say for instance, like
Okay.
maybe this helps also to so one of the scores is this is not that it is good or bad, but one of the score that I wanted for the piece was to address the audience during the installation and during so after the installation to almost they say like the audience doesn't exist during the show. Um, yeah, and for me that was just the intention, and that's about the choreography in
Mm,
terms of like when you address them, so that there is this warmth, and when almost you deny, which
mm.
I think that's also part of coming from the writings of Danny. That's one of the strengths of the piece, like when you are in a autist state, and you are just like you're just doing as if nobody's watching.
Okay.
So yeah, I just go back to my to the that's what I meant here in this part
Yeah.
uh when I speak about the choreography.
Yeah.
Um so I when I mentioned performing for the audience too much, yeah. So this is you and me. Um find allies in the so this we mentioned, I put it bigger. So find allies to in the audience to expand the interaction, which you did. And this is something that is coming from Sarah. That's something that you have, I think, that is useful, but it's quite. And Sarah was saying at some point that Naoto has these two faces. Like one is like poker face, that is like your face in the construction fence, and
Mm,
the other one when you are really excited.
mm.
So there was something that she was mentioning.
Okay. Mm. 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 Mm.
Um, Interaction with me. So I'm highlighting this first. Interaction with me is minimal and often to mock me, quote unquote, comment on something. Uh, yeah. So now I'm highlighting. So my state. Uh, so this I guess is for you. And I'm talking to you. In the past, I feel he does want to perform for the audience. The interaction with me or Robbie happens without consent. Uh, so this is my feeling sometimes that when you enter like say when you get excited in being with the audience, um, at some point I remember when we were in Ljubljana, you were almost doing something to with Robbie. I don't know. It's almost like uh, it's yeah that how to say this that because maybe consent is not the right word is how you negotiate basically. So for instance, I think in our interaction, it happens with me that often when we were in the piece, it's not necessarily there is good or wrong. I just think just from an objective side that I think you are commenting too much. So, and then the question, when much is too much? Because I don't know, I don't know. That's like something we have to feel. But if you are commenting constantly, that's too much for sure, you know.
Of course.
Um, like if you are commenting like for instance at some point you said in the piece that you mentioned I said like about time and you said it's because I'm counting or something. So like
Mhm.
is that the time or something? You said it's because I'm counting. So I don't know. Like that's for instance that's a good example of a comment. It might be actually that because it's just about timing. It's just about the right timing. It might be that it's good, it might be that it's not good, but it's just when much is too much. And I think so you have this thing that you're doing that I think is good, but it's just it's a matter of like have more sensibility and in 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 getting with me. And that's part of like the problems that we need to still solve, that but we know in interacting with each other in the piece so in that sense, like then denying somehow like the energy of the people, which is hard. We need just to practice more with audience and then get in that state with me. And once you get more in that state with me, I guess you can then by yourself find a self-regulation when to do this. But if you are constantly outside, then it has this effect for me that is kind of flat. I put it as one-sided, like too much on on being nice to the people, which is nice, but it's not nice if it's all the time like that.
I see. Yeah, I
Okay.
think
Yes.
I think this is something that one of the things that we need to find a strategy because like like now you said it, I understand because that's like how I sometimes talk, right? It's like not just like in the performance, but I well to like different degrees, but the way I think, it's not like I'm trying to okay, maybe like do something funny. Well, I do think I'm trying to do something funny, but like the way of like commenting is probably that something comes naturally to me.
Yeah, because like I mean, because I mean that's the way how, for instance, you will act. Like with me, like if you are just with me, it's different, But if we are with other people, you are similar. If you are in that state, that's what I was trying to. I said two faces because I think it's interesting because it is a bit like that. That is like you are kind of flat if you are in a social environment, or if you engage, you get very social, right? And you get almost like you have this naughtiness that so that it comes natural. And I think this that is interesting because you bring this into the piece, so it comes natural, but it's just about of sensibility and timing. And that's just something that I guess uh, I don't think necessary is about finding. I think it's just a matter of, to be honest, in practicing that with people and basically entering this space where because you have to take into account me, for instance, like said for instance, like sometimes if I'm the target, that's what I put sometimes, like mind my state, because so sometimes it seems to me like you are almost like bullying me or something. Like I'm exaggerating right now,
I get it. I get it. And but I think this is like, yeah. I mean, because I'm being honest, right? So it's hard, I know you're not my therapist, so that's not something I would share here, but this is
No, I
like,
mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think what I'm mentioning this is because I don't think is, I think that is, um, I will use the word flat if you don't have consciousness of that because it just happens like one after the other one. So I think it's more a matter of you acknowledge because this is happening when there is audience. Like we are speaking of the piece, no? When there is audience, so that you want to be there and you want to be nice, and that's great because that's great for us because then basically you're taking the audience with us, and so that's great. But then there's a balance of once you take the people with you, you have to sometimes do this to create nuances with the piece, and that's just something. Yeah, that's just something that I think has to be uh, practice. I guess we don't have too much time to practice more with people, so maybe we can just think about it like in finding methodologies. For instance, because I can notice some of this sometimes, so maybe we find a way how I let you know something.
yeah, that's what I think with the strategy that and thanks for bringing up, because I think this is, if we could work together on this, that would be great, because yeah, yeah.
Right? Strategy. Okay. They had birthday, too many random things that yeah, I don't know. I cannot expand too much on this. Cumbia finish was fine. It was a good timing. Um, in the moment, I don't feel it.
Mm,
Uh, but so that's coming to my two comments in general that I think in the piece is like Naoto not coming from dance makes it fresh to try things out, especially in this setting that we are planning.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
said I could have an overlook of things and suggest when things are not feeling right. Just speaking I guess from my knowledge.
yeah.
Um, and also it seems like Naoto seems to be more tuned to what is happening in the space because he's in a state of pleasing to the audience of being flat one face or I mean what just we mentioned because you are in that state also allow you to be more in a relationality. So for instance like because of that also you felt there was right to finish like I would have continued,
Mm,
right? So that's what I mean with that so
mm,
it's not that it's good or wrong, it's just this is the elements.
yeah.
Okay, so things on the piece. For me, like as I mentioned, I'm really into in to how to exercise clarity with abstractions, especially when we propose a chaos. So when much is too much, and there is not an answer for that. So I mentioned the score, and in that we fail. Like in to propose that score that was clearly the score
Mm,
in terms of how to interact with the audience. Also, I mean, we have a huge blow with the technology. I mean, was a lot going on that was not working. Um, um, yeah. Okay, installation, curiosity for a theme. I was checking because also I was checking the 360 camera that in the installation there is this curiosity for people to sing. You can see around. So there is this giggling. Um, yeah, so something that we can consider is then used for Bucharest. Then if we decide to do it again, also to use condenser mics for singing. So the mics that we were using were directional, so you need to come. They just pick up sound in this way, but the condensers pick up sound from everywhere. So in Tallinn, say for instance, if we do also this workshop of singing again, will be useful to have a microphone or so that we think in the microphones like a condenser will be way better because they just pick the condenser just pick up every sound while the that microphone is just directional.
Yeah, maybe we can bring this up to the meeting on Monday, um, just to check what is the best solution for this with
Okay.
them. Yeah, not to mention like which specific bike, but yeah,
Yeah.
they probably have yeah, some ideas.
Yeah. And also, yeah, so to find a solution for to pick up sound from people who are singing everywhere.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Okay.
Just added that Nuno's comment, the lyrics were at the bottom, right? The when we're
Yes,
sleeping.
yes, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I saw also Oksana was trying to watch sometimes that she
Mm,
could not. The fun intention for performance and installation interaction part. I think so. When I mean about intention, this is character for you.
mm,
Uh, for installation interaction part. Or actually, this is a question mark because I don't know. Like all the installation part that was we went very fluid. So yeah, it's more a question.
Actually, it was nice that I was wearing a shirt that
Yes, actually, it was. That's a good that you mentioned because I think this that yes, but could be I think something that I would have add from that, especially because I have this such extravagant outfit, so it really looks
Mhm.
in balance that you are more put it.
Yeah.
But I think it will be good if you have this the blue thing in your eyes or something that there is for
Yeah.
both.
Yeah.
I
Just to
think I
have
think the
the
blue I think
this
just the
something.
blue thing so it connects both, but it's good that you have this more
Yeah.
formal and I have this extravagant. I think it works good. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, now the shirt. So cumbia, everyone in the cumbia, everyone was dancing. So that was something very interesting.
True.
That was like that was really good. So because my timing, this is a comment. That's what I mentioned as the comment. You know, when you
Okay. Yeah. But when
yeah,
I
there's
take off, yeah. Okay.
yeah, that's a comment. Comment, comment. We have a little bit of time, but yeah, I guess this is part of the same thing. Is a comment.
Yeah.
At some point, you were also mentioning this. So you have this tendency of narrate.
Mm,
Uh, it's just this is part of a comment. Change between installation performance must be sharp.
mm,
We can be better like next time to make sharp the the change between these. And in general, I think the blackouts should be longer. So what Sarah was mentioning, the silence, I think are very important because the piece is very full. So
yeah.
when there is silence, and I think it's important to give them space for to rest.
Yeah.
The out so blackouts are good. Need we are now thinking about mirrors, long pauses, part of the same thing. A pause. Jorge, limit Jorge or fine score during the auto presentation. This is part of what I'm saying. What is the intention
Mm,
of my body? Intention. Um, so intention slash characters
yeah.
or map. Slow down before introduction of the text. Just for me, when so I guess this is relevant as what I mentioned. This like so I noticed for instance like I think so the text in general I think it works. I need time to I guess rehearse and make it something that is more organic in different ways.
You mean
But
the
in
onboarding?
like the yeah the onboarding and this story that I'm telling. But so in terms of this idea of construction of the character or like this idea of dance, so like so the text is really strong, right? It has all this quality. So in that minute in 60-50 I could have so I speak too fast. So I think I could have create tension just with my body. I thought like for instance, if just I walk around and just basically to generate attention, then the text can it
Mm,
becomes more you take that thing the moment and you expand until the limits.
yeah. The call is ending, so
Yep.
let's come back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Italian. Yeah, so I think this in general also wait. I think just in general that it's somewhat one of the comments that some people said, which is coming from dance like then if we are more comfortable with the material, then we just also minimize our physical doing, but then also we can be more sensitive to understand when an action can be expanded and start just staying in the same space until you create this tension that is quite typical in dance. Um, so one example is like me with the text. I can Yeah, that's something that that could be more work around that. Second video is the same. What auto was doing when my text. What were you doing while when second video? What? I'm slow down.
I don't know which, or I mean,
Oh yeah, no, I remember. Yes, yes. So that it's in the. I mean, with the second video was my second of my 360 cameras.
yeah.
Is in the slowdown of the touch myself.
Mm.
Uh, well, no, it's what my text. That yeah, the if you're out of the frame, but we didn't rehearse that. Like also, if you're out of the frame in that slow motion, you should move normal
We
because
said that.
then I
Yeah.
can see like you went the way, but it was funny that you went like a Frankenstein to the computer when you are not in the frame, for instance, of the camera of the green key.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think I understand. In my head, I remember that, yeah, we agreed that if we're not in the frame, then we're normal. But I think in my head, I was processing that part of my body is still in the frame a little bit. So I'm not like this, but like if I'm this, I'm still in the frame. That's how I was like translating,
Okay,
I think. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. But we can try
yeah.
different things. Yeah.
Find a way to keep people in the mag, yeah, in the Magstone, the Magdo. Yeah, that's a question. Like how to find, like how to keep, how to keep people in the McDonald's station during the piece. Uh,
I mean,
that's yeah, how to do that. Like, or maybe not all the time, but like will be interesting sometimes to find a way to put somebody inside of the space and do it. That,
I
yeah,
mean, there has to be a reason, right? Like because you're there to see a show. You don't want to like, do this all the time. But maybe something interesting is that like Becca was telling me that she spent quite some time making this, bracelet. Like
yeah,
she took it to the when she was, after the installation, she took some of them and she was like continuing this during the show. So this is something to think about, like because then she was really hooked to this activity that she wanted to finish.
yeah,
And right now, I mean, the solution, I don't think the solution should be like add something to the Macdo station to make it more interesting, but something that, there has to be a reason for them to like keep doing this while you're actually watching the show. That's just like
yeah.
my, or we just have to script it with someone who's we know.
Yeah, yeah. But we need to find a way how to because especially I mean I feel this a pity that that the station is not used more. Uh, I mean that's not something we can solve right now, but it's like it's a question.
But the installation was good because then actually people use it. Yeah.
Yeah. I took pictures. Eva was there for a while. With live coding in general, I think the live coding like we need to do
Yeah.
more that like code like I mean especially you like you have to live code and show that more
Yeah.
because I think
Miro
that's a
told me.
strength.
Yeah.
I did actually. I did some during in the piece. Loop good, distorted more. This was the sound. This was the what? What the song that I was using? Real people, kind of. I don't know.
Uh,
Oh,
we uh
loop.
we are human
Human
being.
being. Yeah. Real human being. I think. Real human being.
Okay, I didn't catch it, right?
I think that work. I think that work. Being is like that.
Being.
Being. I think that work. I mean, there is something on there
Mm.
because it gives a hook Uh, and also this guy was doing the same in the piece. Like he was just using these pop songs, but he was just destroying this Victor guy. He was just
Mm.
destroying that with, and the way how we did it was, uh, first we used just the sound that for most of the people would be just the sound. Did you recognize? Yeah, that's a question for you. Did you recognize the song without, if just from the loop,
No.
without
You mean
without the,
from Victor? No.
no, no, not from Victor, from us, just like the, without the, because there's two loops. One, there is just the loop of the, without the lyrics, and one loop there is with the lyrics.
Um, no, I don't know which part it was without lyrics. No.
Okay. Yeah, but in general, I think that it works. And also, Robbie also was quite into that. So was doing
Mm.
stuff. Interaction. This is something with, I mean, in this case, yeah, in general, we need to find ways how to. So I think so. I think in general the piece worked very well. I mean, what we wanted was to research the audience interaction, and that was super achieved. But then if you start going really nitty-gritty and analyze, so for instance, uh, in Ljubljana, so we have no audience interaction, but we were very tuned to what was happening in the stage.
No. Yeah.
So
Yeah, because
how
that
for
was
example,
also something we discussed with Danny, right? To have the space that we come close to the audience and we're doing something together. Like not with the audience, but
yeah. So what could be interesting, what could be interesting if we find, so that we learn like that we could try, since we are finishing this tour in Ljubljana, we have Bucharest to try something, and something that we try to find a place in the middle. Um, yeah, third 50. I ignore now to at some point. Yeah, you were doing something when with the light of me or something. I just noticed on the video that at some point I
Hydra.
was saying, and then you were doing something, and that I think was interesting. But I mean, when I seen the video, but I was completely on my own stuff, so I ignore you. So I mean, this is, I guess, is in relation to.
Like it's so that's like not ignoring in a way that you intentionally ignore, but it's more like you were not aware. Is that what
I
you
was
mean?
not aware. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Because
wasn't. Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
big
Actually,
difference, right? Yeah.
that's a bit different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think, yeah, I think that might work. Like when I mentioned ignoring, I think it's in a positive way. So I think it's necessary to ignore the audience clearly so that they feel ignored sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so yes. So I was not aware of you in that moment.
Yeah.
Who's giving the cues? That was so funny.
That was
That was so
hilarious.
funny because naturally it's like we start like asking really like, okay, who is giving the cue? And then you look at me, I look at you like, I don't know. Um, so I think that was pretty cool. I
How did
think
it
that's,
even happen? Like I remember because like for me, like first thing I have to think is like, so what's the cue? And then like how did it turn out that she's gonna like use this cracker?
I don't know. I don't know. It's because I think so. I think we start like this, and there was a silence, which I think this is the kind of things that makes the if we can work, be conscious of that, what it works on that moment is the silence.
Yeah, to make it
Is the
long,
silence. Yeah, exactly. Because
like
that's
to
what it would,
yeah.
because it's, and I have this conversation with some people from PAF when I was in some writing group that I am these days, and I was in my text I was putting a choreographic motion in that, in the sense of my text was proposing some silence sometimes,
Mm.
but I was sometimes running, I mean rushing my silence because I was afraid to losing them, like the audience, and then they will maybe say thank you or cut me. And then in the feedback they said something very interesting, that somebody was saying that actually in the silence is the only moment where you fully have me,
Yeah.
because it's true, like during, if I put in the example in the text, during my text or also in the performance, there's so much that also I might feel annoyed for different reasons because it's too much, then I might not be following what is happening, but in the silence I will be there. You are in the silence with the people, you're sharing a space, So yeah, I think in this of the queue, it works because there was this silence, and at some point, you, I think somebody should have said something because you were the first person who said like, no, you have worked too much tonight. You said to somebody. To who you said that?
What?
You said that in
Oh, maybe I
the
talked to Christine or
could be or to
I,
because yeah, there
that
was
makes
Christine
sense.
and there
Yeah.
was Sarah. They were like there, so
Yeah.
maybe
And
you mentioned some of
also
them.
like at that point, I was like really trying to avoid talking to the people I know. Like, for example, this hat birthday hat, like I was
Yeah.
almost like giving to John, and I was like, no, the person next that I don't know.
But like this is like a perfect example for me, like into what I think is like could be dance like because that's a real impulse that you can do something from it. I don't know what because then there's where you have to develop a language or like some, but that's a real impulse that can take you to do something body wise that could be interesting. And what I think is interesting then when I mentioned the dance is like say like that's a good example, and I think when you mentioned of in the voice message like the I felt you being there in that moment and being surprised by yourself in the way how you describe it that you were about to put it but you
Hmm.
did not put it on him. So
Hmm.
that's a perfect example of dance because if you are tuned to that, then you take it and you move it, but then from there then you can start using this idea of repetition because it's not about for you to start creating a whole new piece because yeah, we are not Baryshnikovs, like so we cannot do that. But just in a simple way, you can take and create a loop, and in the loop you can expand that and pull it into the limits of that. That will be something that is it comes from a real place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I see.
In the green keys load, what? Ah, yeah, this is what I just mentioned.
Yeah.
Green key introduce silence, core, transition, score, cars map. What? Transition. Ah, yeah, okay. As clapping. So what I was saying here, transition, score, cards map. Map is that I mentioned before that when there are transitions of things happening, is in that moment that I also mentioned maybe because I don't know what I'm doing like this about my intentionality with my body. So it's in the transition, but I think especially in the transition that you can use characters. So like the body of the characters or something. And also yeah, because yeah, it's in the transition that we don't really know what is happening. So that we can use these things developed with Danny to fill it with something. I think so.
Yeah.
Ask clap. I don't know why I say ask clapping to to, when ask clapping to the audience. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Okay, but yeah. So there's the yeah. I think in general I enjoyed very much. Also, I think it was very playful. Um, and I think there is a lot of potential. It's in a very different place that it was in Ljubljana. So
Yeah.
I think I will be very interesting what can we do in Bucharest
Yeah.
on this. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So I will say like maybe uh I would like more to soon and maybe not to have just some refresh. And then we talk when you have some time, and then we come back to start speaking from Bucharest.
Yeah. Yeah, let's find time on the weekend. I mean, weekend is completely fine for me. Tomorrow, I think I just have to focus on school stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, are you giving the classes on Fridays?
yeah, tomorrow.
I saw by chance, like I was searching some video. I mean, I was searching the video of your,
My lecture.
and then I saw your lecture. Like, so are you teaching them? Like, what is your class? I was almost curious to go, but yeah, I didn't find the time. Like, is now to giving that? It's like website development.
Yeah, website development and management, but kind of like we're diverging from the topic. Yeah.
But I thought your class were about it was about WordPress.
I mean, it was originally, I mean, it is called like that, the course, and they are teaching WordPress, but now I'm just doing it with Glitch.
And then what are you using as a framework?
It's called 11T. I mean, there's like a template on Glitch that it's basically like making a blog and with a markdown, and it has this, like static site generator. So you edit something and there's like Node.js running in the background, and it will render as a HTML. So you don't
That's
have to
why.
program, you just have to edit markdown.
Oh, so that's why you're using kind of as a WordPress.
Yeah, I mean the idea is the same. It's just not visual editor.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was curious. I was like, oh, when Naoto's now doing these classes, and you use your shirt.
Yeah, but now I'm getting more loose. Like I'm just wearing whatever. Yeah, but I think they are quite engaged and
How many people you have?
like I think 20 something registered, and the ones who are following, I think
Wow.
we still have like around 15 following the class, I think, because we did like a first round of presentations, and yeah, I think they are mostly good. Um, and I'm really surprised by like how fast they learn. And I didn't, for example, I don't teach CSS, it's about the content, how to write a post, and then like they're like pages, like about page or whatever, like this really like organizational thing about blog I'm talking, but then they come up with like crazy CSS layouts, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to grade that part. I mean, of course I will give more points for those that are doing well, but I mean, everyone has different strategy, and that's really good. Like someone who's not into like design, like he's just like writing a lot of posts, and that's like I was like, wow, that's also super nice, and yeah, I'm really happy. Yeah.
It sounds very interesting. Does anybody, you mentioned at some point students in the piece that in Tallinn were students from you or like dance students?
What do you mean?
Like you said, like in in our work at that somebody told some students told you something, some
Some
feedback
piece. I don't know. The piece. What? I'm a bit lost.
in the performance we present the STL. That some people give you some feedback and you said the word students.
Ah, like today, I said was something I said about, or
Yeah, yeah. Today you said
no,
something
then
about
then
like
maybe like
feedback that
students,
people.
not from that. No, like I think it's HCI people, from our school.
Ah,
Like,
okay. So, but
yeah,
not your
not
students, and
not
not
from my students. No,
okay, but it's and also not the dance students from Brock Oksana.
no. I mean, there might be, but I don't have any contact. No, no. I mean, my students are like, when I talked about, I'm giving this performance, I'm doing this performance, and then like some are like, oh, can we dance? Like I was like, what? Like that's
Oh,
different
wow.
kind of event.
You meant so you mentioned it to your students that you were performing.
Yeah, I mean, like, I just said it casually, and then like some of them said like, oh, can we come to dance? I was like, well,
I mean, no.
you could have actually, but
Like actually we have a workshop, but what do you mean?
they're
I don't
so
want to call the police because the student.
anyways. Yeah,
But Tawid and Oksana, especially Tawid and Oksana, were extremely enthusiastic about the work.
yeah,
So I
cool.
was very happy about it from that day two specifically. Yeah, yeah, they were very, very enthusiastic. Yeah, that's the word. Very
Cool.
excited, talking and talking of different. Yeah,
Right. I mean, also, it's not something you see in Estonia, so
no,
yeah. So I'm gonna go see Estonian dance show. So I hope it's gonna be good.
oh man, this guy, the guy from PAF, I told you the night, this guy from PAF, the guy, I think the guy was super in drugs, or maybe he has a psychological think, and I don't know
I don't know. He
because
just said hi, so
yeah, but I think he was extremely he I think he was in drugs or the thing is like people in the theater were not surprised. I was looking around like
oh,
body seeing what's going on because the guy was it was in the show after there was this talk, right? So some people stay and the guy wanted to like talk all the time and he was doing movements and stuff. I was looking around if what is going on, why people are not like I was feeling a bit like, wow, this guy,
that's
please.
normal.
Yes,
People always
I
like
think
that.
they I think maybe he has something and they know him, I guess for sure.
Probably. I don't
And
know.
they just like they stop him like a dog. Sometimes they just catch him like no, and they just put him.
What?
Yeah, because the guy was jumping and doing stuff. Literally, he was doing. I mean, say like we are sitting in, and you saw where I was sitting in those chairs. We were like maybe five people, but around the theater, there's other people sitting. So the guy was standing next to the door, just standing, and he was just doing stuff and like he wanted to talk, and sometimes he was just like, I was like, wow, what is going on? And then sometimes they sit him like as a kid,
It's it,
but then
yeah.
he just jump and then he start like. Can I say something? Can I say something? And they're like, wow,
Wow. Was he performing? Oh my
I
gosh.
hope so. I mean, it was, it's like, wow. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I will let you know how the performance is today. But
So
I
is
heard
that is contemporary dance?
yeah. I heard a bit from Nuno, so I'm have kind of expectation. I mean, like, doesn't mean good or bad, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe just let's close the recording here and then
Yeah.
share something.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Yes.